Welcome to the 2020 Golf Coach Rules meeting. My name is Lauren Prohaska, OHSA Director of Sport Management and Golf Administrator. You'll hear from Randy Eisman later, and he will introduce himself and cover the USGA rules. I'd first like to take a moment to thank each of you for your patience as we work through these unprecedented times. We currently remain optimistic that we will be able to start our fall seasons on time, but continue to plan for many different scenarios should we need to make adjustments if changes occur. If you have any questions throughout the season, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I look forward to working with each of you.
Before we begin, if you are using a Chromebook, we strongly recommend that you stop and use a different device to view this presentation. If you choose to proceed with a Chromebook, be aware that your attendance may not be recorded or the presentation may stop or freeze. All users should take a screenshot of the final slide of this presentation in case you are not automatically awarded attendance credit. The rules meeting remains a requirement for all head varsity coaches to complete. A change this year is that your attendance will be reflected immediately in your MyOSHA profile as soon as you complete this meeting. So make sure you go and check your attendance as soon as you are finished. And if you don't see your attendance credit, please email me so we can get that fixed.
Just a reminder to check our website periodically. Our golf page does now have the new coaches guide posted and the new regulations posted. So you can find both of those documents on our website on the golf page. The new handbook will be mailed out to all athletic directors, and they should receive that in July. And the Rules of Golf book was mailed out last year from our office to all head coaches of the high school and junior high level. So that will not be mailed out this year. If you need a rules book, the easiest way to get that is to go to the USGA website to get that. You will also receive coach memos that will be emailed directly to you, but will also be posted then on our website. So just check back as many resources will become available throughout the year.
All coaches, whether paid or volunteer, are required by Ohio law to obtain a pupil activity coaching permit. To obtain this permit, you must hold a current and valid CPR card, complete an approved sports first aid course, as well as submit a background check and complete a fundamentals of coaching course and an approved concussion course. You must also complete the sudden cardiac arrest education. If you have any questions, please see your athletic director. They do know this law well and can help you obtain the permit. Since we're currently in the summer months, I will cover instruction outside the season of play. Unlike many of our team sports, which has a 10-day rule, our individual sports such as golf has no restrictions. So you can coach your kids at any time in a group setting or an individual setting. You just can't make that instruction mandatory. A question that I get often is students who play in tournaments during the summer of what prizes they can accept. Students can accept up to $400 in prizes per event. They just cannot accept any cash.
You may begin practice on Saturday, August 1st this year, and the season begins on Wednesday, August 5th. If you're looking ahead to schedule, please note that the 2021 season start date will be Monday, August 2nd for practice, and you can begin competition on Thursday, August 5th. Looking ahead to the start of the season, you are permitted one scrimmage, and that can be used anytime beginning August 1st. Just a reminder that if you participate in a scrimmage, it must also be considered a scrimmage for your opponent as well. They would not be able to count it as a regular season competition if you count it as a scrimmage. You're also permitted one exhibition match beginning August 1st, and that must be played with or against individuals who are not part of an interscholastic golf team. High school is permitted 20 contests and junior high 16. Just a reminder that if you have a league or a conference tournament at the end of the season, that it must count as one of your regular season contests. Clarified this year is that each team or individual is permitted to play in 2 contests per day. If you're planning to travel out of state, just a reminder that there are no restrictions when competing in bordering states. If you're going to a non-bordering state, that is only permitted to be done one time during the season, And a change this year allows you to miss school time if it is approved by your school district. Previously, you were not allowed to miss school time for travel or competition, but that is now a school district decision. Please remind your players throughout the season of the Non-Interscholastic Regulation. This regulation stipulates that once you become a member of your school team, that you can no longer participate in non-school golf contests or competitions without an approved waiver. The definition of a member of a school team is any student who has played in a scrimmage or regular season contest this season. So they don't become a member of the team by practicing or the first day that practice is permitted. They only become a member once they play in their first scrimmage or regular season contest. Once they do that, they must receive an approved waiver in order to participate in a non-school contest, and I will cover that in the next slide. However, clarified this year is that they can participate in any sort of practices or skill work with non-school teams during the season, just no contest or competitions. So, once a student becomes a member of your golf team by either participating in a scrimmage or regular season contest, they are permitted up to 3 waivers to participate in non-school competitions or contests. And this waiver form can be found on the OHSA golf page on the left-hand side. A school administrator will need to submit that to me, or you as the golf coach submit that to me for approval. It must be requested prior to the event, and you must receive the approval in order for your golfer to participate in that event. The cutoff date for events this year is September 27th, so that is the last date that they can participate in these competitions. New this year is that 7th and 8th graders no longer need waivers. They can participate in an unlimited number of non-interscholastic events during the season with no waiver needed. The drive, chip, and putt is a skills competition, so students can participate in that at any time during the season, and no waiver is needed.
The inclement weather policy is a national policy from the National Federation. So anytime you see lightning or hear thunder, you must evacuate the course and take cover, and you must wait 30 minutes from the last sound of thunder or the last sight of lightning. Please make sure your administration, coaches, and officials are all working together on any inclement weather issues. The new change to the national policy this year is that it adds that at night under certain atmospheric conditions, lightning flashes may be seen from distant storms. So in these cases, it may be safe to continue. If no thunder can be heard and the flashes are low on the horizon, the storm may not pose a threat. Independently verified lightning detection information could help you eliminate any uncertainty. So that is only at night if you see lightning in the distance. But anytime you hear thunder, it's a 30-minute wait, and any flashes nearby is a 30-minute wait.
The coaching regulation allows one board-approved coach to speak with players at any time without delay of play. The only restriction is that coaches are not permitted to stand on any green or in any sand bunker. The golfer must walk off the green or out of the bunker in order to converse with you in those situations. A common question each year is about distance measuring devices. They are permitted for use, and the document you see on the right should answer any questions you have on what you can and can't access. So please review that. I've also put the link to this document in the coach manual, so please take a look at that. It should answer any questions, but please reach out if you do have additional questions. The only thing I will note is that we do not allow golfers to use mobile phones or tablets on the course, so they could not use that as a distance measuring device. Sponsorship is always a tricky question. It's easier if you read over the manual or the golf regulations to see exactly what those rules are, and then I can answer any questions on specific scenarios you have. It's very difficult to just cover those generally, so it's best if you just go ahead and reach out to me with any questions on sponsorship.
The Ohio High School Golf Coaches Association is your representation to the OHSA office. So they are part of the communication with us to propose any changes or new ideas for the sport of golf. We encourage you to Join the Golf Coaches Association as they present all of the All-Ohio Awards, the Scholar Athlete Recognitions. They put on the State Golf Clinic each year, and they also award the SEI Award, Hall of Fame, and Distinguished Service. So please reach out to them as a resource if you should ever need anything during the golf season.
Looking ahead to the tournament, each district athletic board organizes and conducts all sectional and district tournaments. So this includes selecting the specific dates that those tournaments will be played on and which golf courses will be used for those tournaments. So if you have any questions on sectional and district golf, you'll either want to go to your specific district's website, and that should have all the information uploaded probably in late July, early August, or go to their website to find contact information to reach out to someone on their board. The OHSA organizes and conducts state tournaments, and we also create the tournament regulations so that all tournaments are conducted under the same set of tournament regulations. Those are typically approved at the August board meeting and will then be posted. We began the use of Birdie Fire last year at the state tournament and are continuing to look at expanding that this year and in years to come. So we will continue the use of Birdie Fire for state tournament play. With that, I will now turn it over to Randy Eisman, and he will cover the USGA rules.
Welcome to the annual Ohio High School Athletic Association Rules Interpretation Meeting. This year's section, devoted to the USGA rules of golf, will look at 4 rules topics that golfers seem to misunderstand and often have questions about. Hopefully, as you view and listen to this PowerPoint presentation, we can clarify some of these rules situations and clear up some confusion. Once again, to fully comprehend this presentation, it would be helpful if you had a current edition of the rules of golf that you could refer to. At the end of this presentation, there is a short rules quiz for you to take. Use the quiz as an indicator of how well you have learned and understood the material presented. Just a quick overview on how this presentation will work. As each slide appears, I will give a brief description of each topic and highlight some important points. Some of the slides have 1 or more short videos that you can view to enhance your understanding of that particular rule. Once the audio portion and the build-ins for each slide are completed, you will be able to view the videos by clicking on the image to play them. When slides have multiple videos on them, play them in the correct numerical sequence. When a rule topic uses more than one slide, a prompt will appear informing you that that subject is continued on the next slide. You will be able to read and study the slides at your own pace. When you have finished watching the videos and have reviewed the material on each slide, just press the Enter key to advance to the next slide. To fully understand and grasp the 4 rule situations that you see outlined on this slide, it is essential that you become familiar with the definitions. There are over 70 defined terms or definitions, and these form the foundation around which the rules are written. A good knowledge of the definitions is very important to the correct application of the rules. Many rules of golf questions can be answered by referencing the section on definitions in the back of the rule book. As you view this presentation, the definitions will appear in light blue. The first topic we are going to discuss is the confusion with back on the line relief and line of flight relief. As noted, back on the line relief is found in the rule book, and line of flight relief is not and is never an option for the player, pictured on the left of your screen. Back on the line relief is an option found in 3 different rules. They involve taking penalty relief under Rule 16.1c2, relief for an abnormal course condition in a bunker, which is shown in the diagram on the right of your screen. Rule 17.1d2, relief for a ball in a penalty area, and 2 sections of Rule 19, 19.2b, relief options for an unplayable ball in general area or on putting green, and Rule 19.3b, relief options for unplayable ball in a bunker. Back on the line relief is based on a reference line going straight back from the hole through the spot where the original ball lies or the spot where the original ball last crossed the edge of the penalty area, with no limit to how far back on this line the player may go to take his or her drop. On the next slide, we will see how back on the line relief is used in Rule 17. This back on line relief option can be used for either yellow or red marked penalty areas. This is the black dotted line in the diagrams above. In taking relief, a ball is never allowed to be dropped on the line of flight, which is the path the ball takes from the time it is struck until the time it comes to rest. This is the white dotted line with the red X in diagrams 1 and 2 above. Watch the video to gain a better understanding of this procedure. The next slide will show us how this relief option is applied in Rule 19.
When taking relief from a penalty area for one penalty stroke, one of your relief options in the 2019 rules is going back on the line. Follow these steps. Estimate the point on the edge of the penalty area where your ball last crossed as it went in. Imagine a straight line running from the hole through that estimated point and extending behind the penalty area. Go back as far as you like and identify a spot on that line. Measure or estimate a 1 club length wide relief area on either side of and behind that spot. In the 2019 rules, a club length is always the longest club in your bag except your putter. Then drop a ball in the relief area. Your dropped ball must land in and be played from the relief area. To learn more, please visit usga.org/rules.
A couple of important points to note here. First, to apply this back on the line relief option, you must have found your original ball. This is represented by the black dotted line in diagrams 19.2 and 19.3 above. Secondly, as in the previous slide, you are never permitted to take relief along the line of flight, highlighted by the white dotted line and the red X in diagrams 19.2 and 19.3. Play the two videos on this slide to help clarify for you how to correctly use this relief option.
Everybody has spent time at the beach, and while it can be enjoyable, on the golf course, most players prefer to avoid these specially prepared areas of sand called bunkers. If you happen to find yourself in a bunker, make sure you don't deliberately touch the sand to test its consistency, such as with your hand, a rake, or a club. Also, don't touch the sand behind or in front of the ball or during a practice swing, even if by accident. The good news is you can move loose impediments and movable obstructions, and even touch the sand with your club elsewhere in the bunker, as long as it is not to test the condition. When you decide your ball is unplayable in a bunker, there are several one-stroke penalty options to consider. In the bunker, you can either drop within 2 club lengths or go back on the line. Or, for a 2-stroke penalty, you can get out of the bunker by going back on the line as far as you like. Also, going back to where you last played is an alternative, under stroke and distance.
When you decide your ball in a bunker is unplayable, under the 2019 rules, you have an extra option that lets you drop back on the line outside the bunker for a penalty of 2 strokes. Imagine a straight line running from the hole through where your unplayable ball is. Identify a spot on that line as far behind the bunker as you like. Measure or estimate a 1 club length wide relief area on either side of and behind that spot. Then drop a ball in that area. Your dropped ball must land in and be played from the relief area. To learn more, please visit usga.org/rules.
On these next two slides, we are going to discuss the line of play and/or line of sight relief. Except when your ball is on the putting green, you are not entitled to line of play or line of sight relief. The rule provides relief for an abnormal course condition only if the player's ball is in or on the condition, or the condition physically interferes with the player's area of intended stance or area of intended swing. The player does not get relief simply because the abnormal course condition, represented by the immovable obstruction above, is on your line of play and is between where your ball lies and the hole, or because the condition mentally interferes or is distracting to the player. If it does not meet the requirements listed above, then there would be no relief provided under this rule. First, click on the link above to watch the video on immovable obstructions and then play the video on abnormal course conditions. Go to the next slide to learn about the exception to this rule when the ball lies on the putting green.
The two fundamental principles of golf are play the ball as it lies and play the course as you find it. But to make the game more fair, you aren't required to play from ground under repair, temporary water, animal holes, or immovable obstructions such as cart paths and sprinkler heads. These are known as abnormal course conditions. If you want to play your ball as it lies, go right ahead, but you are allowed to take relief without penalty. Here's how. First, you need to determine the nearest spot, no closer to the hole, where the abnormal course condition is no longer in your way. It's helpful to mark that spot with a T. Then, determine the area within 1 club length, no closer to the hole. Drop your ball and play on.
This slide is explaining the exception to line of play, line of sight relief for an abnormal course condition when your ball lies on the putting green. Remember, abnormal course conditions include immovable obstructions, ground under repair, temporary water, and animal holes. On these next 4 slides, we are going to discuss how to properly play a provisional ball. Of note here is the definition of a provisional ball. It is a ball played in case the ball just played by the player may be lost outside a penalty area or is out of bounds. Read carefully the text in the red box above. Play the video above to learn more about stroke and distance. Continue to the next slide to learn how to properly announce the play of a provisional ball.
We have all experienced losing a ball or hitting one out of bounds. When that happens, you are penalized 1 stroke and must reestablish your progression of playing from the tee into the hole by going back and playing again from where you last played. This is called playing under stroke and distance. If your previous stroke was from the tee, tee it up again, from anywhere within that area. If your last stroke was made from the fairway, the rough, a bunker, or a penalty area, simply go back and drop a ball within 1 club length of and not nearer the hole than the spot where you last played. Stroke and distance is your only option for a ball that is out of bounds or lost, except when there is a local rule in effect that provides an alternative you can learn about in another video.
Of importance here is the player must announce they are going to play a provisional ball before playing another ball from where the previous stroke was made. If they do not properly make this announcement, that ball becomes the player's ball in play under penalty of stroke and distance. Watch the video to learn more about a provisional ball. Go to the next slide to learn when a provisional ball becomes the ball in play or is abandoned.
If you hit your golf ball out of bounds or you just lose it, the rules require you to play another one from where you last hit under the penalty of stroke and distance. Looking for a lost ball only to have to return to the previous spot and play the next shot can take a long time and disrupt the pace of play. To help with this, consider playing a provisional ball.
I'm gonna need to hit a provisional.
Not only does it save time, it also takes away from the uncertainty. If you find your original ball inbounds within the 3-minute search time, then finish playing the hole with it and pick that provisional up. But if you can't find it, or it is out of bounds, then just continue playing the provisional ball.
On this slide and the next one, we are going to learn about playing the provisional ball until it becomes the ball in play or is abandoned. The important takeaway here is the provisional ball may be played more than once without it losing its status as a provisional ball, so long as it is played from a spot that is the same distance or farther from the hole than where the original ball is estimated to be. Read this slide thoroughly and carefully before advancing to the next slide. Then proceed to the next slide to view a diagram outlining this procedure. This diagram, along with the accompanying text, illustrates very well the correct procedure for playing a provisional ball and when the provisional ball becomes the ball in play. It also explains when you must abandon the provisional ball and play your original ball. These next 4 slides will highlight when a player may have more than one ball in play at a time. As you can see from this slide, the player may have more than one ball in play on a hole in only 3 circumstances in the rules of golf. The first such instance, the playing of a provisional ball, was discussed in the previous 4 slides and applies to stroke play as well as match play. The final 2 instances of when a player may have more than one ball in play at a time are only permitted in stroke play. Continue to the next couple of slides to learn about playing 2 balls under Rule 14.7b, which is a serious breach of playing from a wrong place. 4 important takeaways on this slide are 1. The definition of a serious breach. 2. The definition of a wrong place. 3. The key points in 1 and 2 listed above. And 4. If the player tried to correct their mistake by playing a ball from the right place, you must report the facts to the committee before returning your scorecard. Continue on to the next slide to learn more about a serious breach of playing from a wrong place. This slide describes how the committee will decide the player's score for the hole and gives examples of a non-serious breach of playing from a wrong place and a serious breach of playing from a wrong place. Continue on to the next slide to learn about Rule 20.1c3. The most important points on this slide are 1. You must decide to play 2 balls after the uncertain situation arises and before making any further strokes. Rule 20.1c3 requires a player to decide to play 2 balls before making a stroke so that his or her decision to play 2 balls or the choice of which ball to count is not influenced by the result of the ball just played. 2. You must announce to your marker or to another player the ball you wish to count if the rules allow the procedure used for that ball before making a stroke. I know you are probably thinking that you always want the second ball to count, but that is not always true. And 3, you must report the facts of the situation to the committee before returning your scorecard. If the player fails to do this, the player would be disqualified. Proceed to the next slide to learn more about playing two balls when uncertain what to do or how to proceed. This slide tells us how the committee will decide the player's score for the hole and gives us some examples of the application of the requirement to decide to play two balls before making any further strokes. The questions are either multiple choice or true-false and pertain solely to the material provided in this presentation. The first 9 questions are shown on this slide, and the remaining 13 questions appear on the next slide. Write down your answers on a piece of paper so you can compare them with the correct answers shown on the last slide. When you have finished writing down your answers to the questions, go to the last slide to find the answer key. Check to see how many you answered correctly. Listed above are the correct answers for each question, along with rules, definitions, and in the case of 3 questions, 18, 21, and 22, interpretations that support those answers. Interpretations, formerly called decisions, provide clarification on certain aspects of the rules, which is then provided by way of explanation and in many cases using examples. The interpretations are found in the official guide to the rules of golf, which is the spiral-bound edition of the rules of golf. Remember, the rules are there to help and assist you. Having a knowledge of and understanding of the rules can save your players strokes and help them to avoid penalties. I want to wish all the teams and players the best of luck during the 2020 golf season. I will look forward to seeing many of you at the State High School Golf Championship in Columbus.
Thank you for completing the Golf Coach Rules Interpretation meeting. You may want to take a screenshot of this final slide in case your attendance credit does not record properly. So go ahead and go to your MyOSHA profile and go to the Rules Meetings tab. And on the left-hand side, click on My State Meeting Attendance, and you should see your date and time stamp of completion there. If you don't see that, please just go ahead and shoot me an email with this attendance verification slide, and I will get that taken care of for you. I wish each of you a successful golf season. Truly thank you for all you do for the sport of golf and for the student athletes involved. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you have a great season, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything.